He saw a human ear on the ground. Suddenly I knew this was a cannibal village. He kicked over the food given to him by the village chief. The village chief was not angry. He said, "You knew about the world where zombies eat people. Is there much fear in the human heart? There are so many scared people in his village." But he always looked out for everyone. He had his men robbing and killing, prepare food for the villagers, and offered them the comfort of faith in the name of God. In this process, the village head also gradually psychopathic. He sees himself as the father of believers and the ruling God. Now he has his eye on the untamed Ellie. He wanted him to be his pet. Ali pretended to obey and then broke her fingers off. This pervert is furious. He called his men to take Ali to the slaughter table. Ali bit the head of the village hard on the hand in the struggle. But he can't compete with two grown men, cried Ellie at the critical moment.
I'm infected! I'm infected. And now so are you. Roll up my sleeve, look at it.
The two men looked at each other, a panic saw. They argued. Ali quickly drew a knife and slashed one of them to death, and then he got out. The doors were locked everywhere. Ali got firewood from the kitchen, trying to crush the ogres that come after him. It just set the house on fire. The village chief was more excited. He advances like an animal on his likely prey. Ali found another knife. Too bad his reckless dash just bumped into him. I was thrown down hard. The man gave him a hard kick, and then lay on top of Ali with a wicked smile. This was the true face of her evil spirit. She's also the one who's been sucking up to Ali. The real purpose behind it. Critical moment. Ali felt the falling knife and slashed at her frantically. He kept cutting down even after the ogre was dead. Out of control and out of control. Fear and anger, till you break away. When he escapes the gates of hell, he was covered in blood and his eyes were empty. Violence and fear were about to drag him down. Good thing old Joe showed up.
Look, it's me. It's me. It's okay. It's okay, baby girl.
Joe took a firm embrace, holding off a broken Ollie. The two men helped each other out of the trouble spot. Months have passed and winter has dissipated and spring has come. After that day, Ollie became very quiet. It was as if a part of the child had died. Old Joe was worried, but could only look at her awkwardly. No words to find words to accompany her side. I was walking past an abandoned building. What did Ollie suddenly discover? Out of his sight as fast as he could. Old Joe was so nervous that he ran and panted all the way after him. Then he saw. Ellie stared blankly at a magical creature. It's a giraffe. Old Joe taught Ellie to rip off branches and feed the giraffes. This guy is not afraid of humans. I don't think I've seen anyone. In the end of man's life, there is a giraffe's pure land. In the healing of holy and gentle life. Ellie finally laughed. A little bit of my old energy. Old Joe was relieved. The two men continue on their way to Firehawk headquarters. He was afraid Ollie would be affected by the haze, wanted to take him home. Ellie was surprisingly firm. After seeing so many tragedies, he was intent on finding the Firehawks lab. Give your immunity to the world. They agreed to live a quiet life together when they finished, but soon a tear gas canister landed behind them, knocked them both down in a flash. When old Joe wakes up, he saw a familiar face. Marlene, the Firefly leader quarantined in Boston. He had recovered from his wounds and came all the way here. He thanked old Joe, praised him, and offered a reward. Not a word about where Ollie is. Old Joe sensed the problem. Only when pressed did he confess. The scientist of Goen, trying to extract the cordyceps that Ollie was born with, to find a cure for the antibody. The only problem is,
Cordyceps grows inside the brain.
take the cordyceps out of the brain. Ollie is going to die. Old Joe tried to stop Fire Silver but knocked him down. He begged Marlene, but insisted it was for the future of all mankind. What must be sacrificed? A girl. She said she grew up watching Ollie. Ollie is the daughter of one of her former associates. She was pregnant in October when she was bitten by a zombie, gave birth to Ollie before it mutated, and asked Marlene to take care of her when she grew up. Marlene is a big picture person. He cares about human beings, but not individual emotions. Old Joe was the complete opposite. He snapped as he was being escorted away. This was the moment he released his demons again, all the way up. Manslaughter. No more screams could be heard in his ears. The sound of gunfire and shells falling. He killed his way out. For Ally and for his dead daughter. For the past 20 years, he hates those who talk about the greater good. The man who decides who lives and who dies. Kill those who surrender and those who beg for mercy. He had already seen it. Fire Silver and FEMA are not fundamentally different, so he's more determined than anyone and more ruthless than anyone. All the way to the operating room, he summoned great courage to break in. It's a good thing Ollie was just drugged. Old Joe shot Fire Silver's doctor, and then he picked Ollie up. Finally, she was able to hold her daughter again, just like 20 years ago. As long as she's alive and warm, then she doesn't have to be the devil. When Ollie woke up, she found herself in a car. Old Joe is taking her back to Tommy's town. She asked Old Joe what had happened. Old Joe said Fire Silver had given up on the cure. There was a robber attack. So she picked her up and ran away. Sensitive and intelligent Ellie, a faint sense that Old Joe was hiding something from her, He asked if Marlene was okay. Old Joe didn't answer, cause he was the only one who knew that Marlene's body was cold. He died in the parking lot of Fire Silver headquarters, though Old Joe had known him for a long time, even though Marlene has given half her life to humanity, and he didn't let him live cause he knew he'd be after her. The car broke down and the two walked on foot over the last hill. Tommy's town can be seen in the distance. That's what Old Joe knows, the safest, sweetest place in the world after the apocalypse, and he was willing to let Ollie grow up, a place to spend one's life. It was the last dream of his broken old life. He was willing to alienate Ollie for that. Take all your sins with you. Not afraid to be against humanity. The sinner snuffed out the hope of the world.
Swear to me that everything you said about the Fireflies is true.
There was never but one person he wanted to save. That's his daughter, not himself.
I swear.